Hi everyone, I'm Sebi and today I would like to talk about probably my favorite music composition techniques or concepts ever, whatever. And they are chromaticism and line cliches. So they are very closely related together, but it's very strange because although I like them very much, I recorded some demos a while ago and I didn't really use them, but yeah, I probably will in the future. So, you have to keep in mind that these are notions of intermediate music theory, so if you don't know the basics to that, go look for them on the internet. There are actually quite a lot of useful YouTube videos on that subject. Okay? So, I will show you some examples, and if I know, I will name a famous song, or not necessarily a famous song, but a song that I know that uses those kinds of chord progressions. Okay? But first, what are line cliches? And they are basically a sequence of chords in which one of the notes is moving by a semitone or a half step each time, and that is equivalent to a fret on the guitar. I think that the half step movement really implies the need for resolution, and that's why I think it really draws the listeners, because it makes them wait and wait for that final chord to arrive. And I think that's one of the very basic functions in music, or one of the very basic rules in music. Okay, so for the first example, let's take the following chord progression. We have D to A to G, to C to G. And in this chord progression there is one note which is moving by one semitone below each time. And that is beginning from D, which is the root of D major, to C sharp, major third of A major, to C natural, the root of C major, and then to B, which is major third of G major. So, but the interesting thing here is that we are not in one key. We could either see this as changing keys as a modulation, first being in D major and having a 1 to 5, and then as being in C major and having another 1 to 5. Or we could also see this as the last two chords being borrowed from the parallel minor scale of D major, which is D minor, and we would have the major flat 7 chord and the major 4 chord. So if we take the middle two chords from that sequence, A and G, then we would get the half step movement between the C sharp, the major third of A major, and C natural, the root of C major. And those two chords are used a lot by Nirvana in their songs, followed by the same chords in a fourth lower. So for example, A, C, E, and G. These are the chords from the song Rape Me, for example. I think there's sometimes E minor in there, I don't really remember. Okay, so the next example is in a major key, moving from the major 1 chord to the major 6 chord. So, for example, if we're in the key of E major, we will have E major and C major. So, between those two chords, there are two notes that are moving by a semitone, one higher, a semitone higher, and one a semitone lower. Okay, so the one that is moving lower is the the G sharp, the major third of E major, down to C natural, which is the fifth of C major, and the B, which is the fifth of E major, moving up to C. So, B and C sharp, C and G. And those two chords can be found in the bridge to the song Big Bang Baby by the Stone Temple Pilots, and they are played in this position. Then I think they go to A minor, I'm sorry, D and C, and then start over. Okay, so if we would reverse those two chords, we would have major 1 to major 3 sequence. So we would be C and E. If we move to the key of G major, then we would have G and B. Those are the first two chords from the song Creep by Radiohead, and the following two chords in that song are another example of using chromaticism, and namely this is 4 major to 4 minor to 1 chord. So in G major, those would be C, C minor, and G major. And that 4 major, 4 minor, 1 major progression is used in a lot of songs, especially by the Beatles. So in this case, we have the moving note starting from E, a major third of C major, to E flat, or D sharp, but I think it's E flat, which is minor third of C minor, and then to D, which is excuse me, the fifth of G major. Okay, so the whole progression sounds like this. It's actually arpeggiated, but I don't really know the pattern, so sorry for that. Okay, but we don't necessarily have to use only major or minor chords to imply a chromatic movement. There are also very used chords are minor major 7 or augmented chords, which are basically the same thing. They only depends where the root is, and one interval is different. Okay, so for example, a minor major 7, as the name suggests, is a minor chord with a major 7. So for example, one song that uses this kind of chromatic movement with a minor major 7 chord is Something by the Beatles, which goes like this. It's the chorus section, I think. It goes like this. Okay, so that moving note is this. From A, G sharp, G natural, F sharp, F natural. And the chords are A minor, sorry, to A minor major 7, because the root is still A. Then D over A, actually it's A7, A minor 7, 11, I think, but it's easier to call it D over A. And then A minor major 6, or sharp 6, I think, to A minor 6 or F major over A. F major 7 over A, I'm sorry. Okay, even in the verse to the song Something, there is a chromatic movement, and that is from C major to C major 7 to C7, C dominant 7 to F major. The moving note is this one. Okay, but I like the chorus more, so that's why I wanted to show it first. Alright, now one way of also using chromaticism and with the augmented chords that I didn't really see anyone do is having a major 7 chord followed by an augmented chord 1 semitone below. So let's say we have C major, C, E, G, B, and then if we move the 2 fingers on the fretboard just 1 fret lower, we'll get B augmented, B, D sharp, G, B. And I think it's actually that progression really sounds kind of ethereal, not necessarily ethereal, but unsettling and very mysterious. Maybe then resolve to E minor. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe you found some inspiration. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.